a brief intro about me. So who am I? My name is Chirag, right? A professional penetration tester, ethical hacker, and an information security consultant, right? Consultant at Cybersecurity Quality Plus, certified instructor and ethical hacker from EC Council, right? Being on the top 10 in the world, like for EC Council leaderboard, right? Instructor at Security, Cisco certified, Microsoft and Fortinet certified, right? So before moving ahead for today's session, we need some kind of basics to be aware of, right? Just tell me in the chat box, are you aware with the OSI model, guys? Are you aware with the OSI? What is OSI model? OSI network model? Yeah, little bit. So we will do one thing that will clear all your doubts regarding OSI, and then we'll start with the Wireshark, capturing the packets, doing some performing different type of attacks, and then capturing the packets, inspecting the packets, right? 7 layers, absolutely. Great. So let's see some things about OSI model. So OSI is a reference model, right? Right. So it consists of like it has stands for Open System Interconnection, and it's developed by International Organization of Standards, right? So this is just a reference model. This is not used in the day-to-day network, right? This is just a reference model. And more things about it, uh, it has a 7-layer architecture. There are different 7 layers, and each layer performs its different task, right? And each layer is responsible for specific functionality, and all these layers collaboratively, like okay, great. uh this one, I hope it's okay now. So it's developed, it is a 7-layer architecture. Okay, all these layers work together, like from the sender side, the top to bottom, and from the receiver side, bottom to top. I'll give you a very brief of it. Okay. So the 7 layers are application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and physical layer. So just tell me how many of you mistake while like reading or learning these layers. Like you cannot tell the exact position of which layer. How many of you have this problem? I can. Okay, you can learn easily, right? So some people face this problem that they mismatch each layers, that sometimes they differ the order of the OSI reference model. So that is a thing, very common thing, that is really incorrect. And if I tell about the experience of interviews, right? So in most of the interviewers, like most of the interviewers usually ask the OSI model layers because of this intention that you just say some layer wrong, or like in the wrong order, and they'll get that point, right? So the first 3 layers are software layer. The transport layer is also called the heart of OSI, right? Because it consists of like two main protocols, that is TCP and UDP. How many of you know about TCP and UDP? Reply me. And the last 3 layers, okay, they are the hardware layers. Because these are called hardware layers because the hardware works on these layers. Okay, can you guys tell me which hardware work on network layer? Can you guys tell me which hardware work on network layer? Router, absolutely correct. And IP, no. Router is the main device that works on network layer. And yes, you can see, you can say switches as well, but those are different switches. The main functionality of switch is on the data link layer. So switch works on the data link layer. Okay, there are two addresses. Like first one is the IP address that we also say at logical address, right? And the second thing is physical address that we also call it MAC address. So logical address works on the network layer, and physical address works on the data link layer, right? And on the physical layer, there are the wires, there are the bits and forms on all these things. So just the solution to that problem, how to learn these layers in a correct order, right? So layer 2 things, okay, layer 2 we call is data link layer, and switch is the device that works on layer 2, right? And layer 3 is the network layer, and router is the device that works on layer 3, right? So now solution to your problem, how to learn these OSI model and the layers in a particular order. So I have two modes, one for Indian users, like one for Indian clients, and other for the like our other friends from other countries. Okay, so for Indian people, they really love, if you are a North Indian, right? North Indian people really love the like cuisine called Shahi Paneer. Okay, so this is a thing that please do not throw Shahi Paneer away. And yeah, please do not throw sausage pizza away. That's actually also correct. Okay, so P stands for physical, D stands for data link, N stands for network, then transport, then session, representation, then application layer, right? And for other people, you can also use this one. Please do not take salesperson's advice. Okay, the same thing. P stands for present, sorry, physical layer, and like this. Okay, now OSI reference model in brief. Okay, so now this is a table that provides you a very brief of the OSI model. Okay, so there are different things that application layer now it provides services to the user. This is the layer where the data is generated. Okay. Next thing is presentation layer. It performs translation, compression, and encryption. Like it takes the input from the application layer and it performs translation, compression, and encryption, then passes it to the session layer. Session layer is responsible for managing the sessions. Okay. Sometimes you people have seen that on banking sites session got logged out. If you like are inactive for some time or something, that then the session got logged out, and it says that log in again to like activate the session. So that thing is managed by this session layer. Okay, next comes is transport layer. So transport layer, what is the role of this transport layer? It is responsible for end-to-end transmission. What does it mean? Okay, so you generated a data. Okay, you generated some process generated some data, and it's need to send to some other receiver. So this end-to-end, this process-to-process transmission is done on this transport layer. Clear? This thing is clear to you guys? Yeah, great. So network layers. Now, network layers is also important. So router is the device that works on this network layer. And what is the role of router? So it defines the path to follow. Okay, the path to follow by the packets, it defines router. Okay, so data into packets and putting network header, like network header. Now there is a thing called header. So every layer adds its header. Okay. So what does every layer do? It adds its header. What is a header? Okay. It is just like you can say a reference for the next layer. Okay, a reference for the next layer. So every layers add a data called header. It contains some of the different values that can be different versions. It can be a TTL value. That can be some flags and many more. Right, every header is on properties. So this property of adding data, right? Yeah, encapsulation, exactly. So this property of adding header into each layer is called encapsulation, and this property of like removing headers from each layer is called de-encapsulation. When these packets like reach on the receiver side, each layer, like the packets move from bottom to top, and each layer removes its header. So this is called de-encapsulation, right? Exactly. So data link layer, it's packets into frames. Okay, here the packet is called frame, and it's responsible for the error free transfer. Okay, this is very important. It's responsible for the error free transfer. Okay, next comes the physical layer. It converts frame into bits and a medium of transfer. That's it, right? So this was a very short brief. Okay, so I hope uh, the person from Security has taken enough screenshots for the presentation. Now let's move ahead for the some part for the like practical.